It's a learning process. Thank you for being patient with us, though.
No problem.
There we go. And it's perfecto. This one over here, take a selfie. She finished. Did y'all see this? We have to have that in the bloopers because, yeah. Jumping on the shenanigans. Oh, she's lost. We have all returning guests today, which is so dope. We have my lovely Carmen from Heal.
Hola.
We have the lovely D'ionna.
Oh, hola.
What is Love Coverage? That's the name of, yes, from Love Coverage. And she was with us on the last show. We have Flower C. She has returned again. And we have our lovely AV guy, which is off camera, Mr. Javi. Hi.
What about the wife?
Oh, the lovely wife as well, off camera. She nice.
She's
Did
nice.
anybody hear that?
She's
I think
nice.
she gotta say it
What
a
up,
little louder.
son?
So Javi's lovely wife, she nice. Say hello. Woo! She's hardly ever here, so we gotta be a little bit extra when she comes around.
Absolutely.
So dearly beloved, today we are gathered here to discuss the issues that we come across daily as women.
And how my man ain't gonna have titties. I mean, D'ionna, they done named the last episode, your man gonna have titties. So this was called My Man Ain't Gonna Have Titties because I'm a manifest he ain't gonna have titties.
Right.
Okay? Shit.
What if he gets?
I was like, I can't believe they really did that.
After y'all get together, what if his?
Then we're gonna start to work out together.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
checking.
I'm down for the workout together.
Because sometimes that happens. You know,
It does now. If you grow into some titties, then I'm gonna start to get chubby. We gonna look at each other upset.
Mm-hmm.
And then we gonna go to
That's what happens in relationships. You get that love weight.
I know that love 15 to 20. Nope, it ain't happening over here. You better keep them titties in check. You better let it go to your thighs and your buttocks because where it don't need to go is your tatas.
I'd rather go to your titties. I do not want no
Yeah, I don't want no man with no big ass.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of life. We all want something different.
Right? Because I love grabbing a booty. It can't be bigger than mine, but you can have a little booty.
But that's the thing. She don't got much booty, so he don't gotta work with a lot. But flatties matter, so it's okay.
I like a mid flatty. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I ain't a flat
she's
wall.
not like
Don't
us.
do that.
I mean, he
I
just
got a
gave
mini
away-
bubble.
It's cuppable.
You want a whoop? Like
I got a teardrop. It all comes to the bottom and get the cup. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold it up,
We get it. We get it. So aside from
Him not having titties, what else we talk about?
all the things that we face on a daily basis as women,
I can't.
all the struggles, all the hardships, all the things that come with being a wonderful woman.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's wife had told me something because she forgot she had couples therapy today with my lovely brother, because that's what healthy relationships they do. So that's progress.
Mm-hmm.
We go, and they're Black, so Black men do go to therapy, so it's not like taboo that Black men don't go to therapy, because they do.
And it is Mental Health Month.
Yes, it is.
Oh, and Mental Health Month. Let's talk about it while I find.
Let's give that some proper attention. That you said they're like going. You didn't say they're on the brink of divorce or they can't stand each other. It's just a healthy thing that they're doing as like regular.
Celebrate their 20-year anniversary as well. So it's
That's
not like
what
they're
I'm talking
newlyweds. They are
That's
20
beautiful.
years in the game.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not like they woke up,
See?
was like, hey, we got married last night. Let's go to couples therapy, or we're about to get married. No. So,
And they're such a beautiful couple.
so here is what she sent in. She said, I've been a daughter, wife, and mother for so long, taking care of everyone, short of my health, taking care of everyone else with my health issues. Now I need to be taken care of, and I don't think I am capable of stopping that, to do it all in the capacity that I've been doing practically my whole life.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, you used to running things.
Don't make me tear up in the beginning. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, this is so near and dear to my heart because we lose ourselves in our roles, like the roles that we play to other people. So wife, mother, even if it's like sister,
Yep.
best friend, whatever it is,
Daughter.
we
Mhm.
lose our, yes, daughter, whatever your occupation is, like whatever we have as a label, we like lose ourselves in that. So I'm like, oh, I got chills like just listening to you read that because so many women can identify with that. And that's a part of like the work that I recommend. Like you have to consistently pour into yourself, like because you change too. So how she was 10 years ago is not the woman she is today.
Not
So
even
she's
from
gonna
10
have to
years.
consistently like learn herself. I'm sorry, my eye is like watering. Like, oh my God.
We have that moment. We have that effect
Ooh.
on people.
You know,
where
when
we
we
can make you
think-
just cry.
When we think about that, we often hear, and so I like to challenge the phrase "lose ourselves" in taking care of others, or in relationships, because in the work that I do in helping women reconnect with their authentic selves, I realized that you don't lose yourself because you never knew who you really were in the first place.
Oh,
Mm.
damn.
And so often when a woman says, I lost myself, through our work, you realize you never even knew who you were, right? And so therefore, you were playing a role from the very beginning, from day one, because when you know who you are, you can walk into a relationship and say, this is who I am and this is who I am not.
Mhm.
Take it or leave it, right? But when we are born, we are given these roles. We are told this, we are taken away from our authentic self and told, this is who you are, this is what you're supposed to do, this is your culture, and this is your role as a woman. And so because we were given that blueprint, we go through life living that blueprint, but we're always struggling and feeling lost because it's not our authentic selves. So you never even knew who you was because someone told you who you were, and that's what you adopted. So in reality, when you come to a place where you're saying, I need to start taking care of myself, that's the beginning of finding yourself. That's the beginning of reconnecting with who you truly are at your core. And from that place, you can begin to think differently and establish healthier habits, and especially boundaries, and not boundaries for others, but boundaries for yourself, so that you can move forward living a happier, healthier, improved quality of life.
That's a really good perspective. And I do agree somewhat.
Mhm.
I think for most women who haven't done any work on themselves, you're absolutely right. Like they don't even know a lot of the language, don't know
Right.
how to identify things. But I'll just use myself as an example, right? I've been a coach since 2015 and really probably coaching my whole life. Every role I've had since I was young has been managing, leader of things, captain of things, my entire life. So when I say I lost myself, I mean like I departed from who I naturally am. And I started playing different roles and doing different things that were apart from like what's naturally a part of my being.
Yeah.
So when
Right.
I say that, I can't speak for everybody else.
Right.
But when I say that, that's what I mean. Like I departed from who I'm authentic, who I
Know who you
authentically
were.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But departed from walking in alignment with your authenticity.
And you was breaking
Yeah.
your boundaries in the
Mhm.
process.
Yup.
because you were busy trying
Absolutely.
to be that person
Mhm.
instead of sticking to what you know is
Right.
you.
Right.
Because we do that out of
Absolutely.
survival, right? Or because we know we want to support and love other people. However, at what cost?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's where the self boundaries come in. You got to know when to stop, when to
Right.
say enough is enough, when to open your mouth and say no, just no. Those two letters, just no. You know, and that's why is that so hard for women? Why is no and setting up boundaries so hard for women?
because we were raised.
Well, think about it. We've been conditioned since we were younger, right?
Yes.
I don't know
Right.
everybody's family makeup, but anyone who has siblings,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Your parents are constantly telling you, oh, think about your brother, share this with them.
Mhm.
Like, we're not necessarily told, oh, think about yourself. Make sure
Ever.
you're good. No, we're always told, like, oh, community, did you do this for them? Oh, help them do this. So we're consistently taught that from a very young age. It's not until you get older where you're like, well, what about me?
Right.
Like, oh,
Not
no.
necessarily, because I was always that kid that wondered what about me, and I was told that that was wrong to think that way. I was told that when you start to think about the what about me, you shouldn't do that, and ray, and
Talk
the
about
rah, rah, rah.
religion.
It was right. It was selfish.
Okay.
I'm a preacher's kid. So
Okay.
is she.
PK,
So you
and they
already know
will
how
lock
that
you in.
upbringing went. You know, you have to do things in the pleasing of God's
Yup.
sight, ray,
And
the
thinking
rah,
of
rah, rah.
others, you can't think of yourself because being selfish,
You
that's
can't,
not
'cause
right.
that's selfish. Right. I have a similar background. Like, I'm not a preacher's kid, but I was brought up in the church. My mother was completely religious. So I definitely relate to that. Like, the guilt trips that are put on you when you start to like find yourself and really start to maybe speak up for yourself and
Don't
get
speak
Don't
up.
speak up for yourself.
Don't speak, and then don't let your parents be foreigners or West Indian or anything like that because you speaking up, you're disrespectful.
Yeah.
Why don't talk to me? Why are you disrespecting me? I don't want to hear
stay in
nothing.
the child's place.
Right.
I
Children should be
always-
seen and not heard.
Mhm.
Yep.
My aunt
Listen.
is heavy, Auntie Nubia, heavy in the church. And when she talks like that, I always say, please show me in the Bible where it says to be a jackass.
Ah, in Leviticus,
Listen,
plot this
listen,
shit here.
I said, listen,
No, so let me
yes, the
stop.
Bible talks about loving and honoring others, but it also talks about
Not
loving and
provoking.
honoring yourself.
And it says about
Yes.
not provoking
It talks
either.
about love
Oh.
others as you love,
Love
yourself.
yourself.
So love starts here. So
With
every time I
yourself.
see them do this extra stuff that's causing them to be sick and depressed and stressed out,
Yes.
I say, I understand you want to help, but show me in the Bible where it said to be a
Not
jackass.
at the detriment
And
of
when you
your
show
own.
me
Yourself. Right.
that piece, then I will understand.
Hey,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree. There's other struggles that we have as well. There's the struggling with the parenting. There's struggling in relationships. Like, I know a
I'm
lot of-
divorcing my kids.
And I'm taking care of my dad. And it's like he's a whole nother child. Why the
Oh,
police
you
call me?
got-
Why the police call me talking about they found his wallet? Someone turned in his wallet. You know his money ain't in there. That man is 92, about to be 93. Why were you on the train?
Rain. Yeah.
He has somewhere to go.
No, he don't. He got his doctor's appointments and they handled a ride for that. So where were you going, sir? Probably to get a haircut or some shit. But still, like, and with men, you can't,
Once a man, twice a child.
Yes, that's how.
Oh my goodness.
Once a man, twice a
Once a
child.
But when I tell you that he don't, like, he still thinks that he's 40. And because he looks like he's 60, he really be trying to not act like he's 92.
So your daddy's
Yeah.
a boy.
Boy,
My dad is.
Meet your daddy. I already told you.
he is. I don't even know how
Can
many
I-
siblings I
Can I
have.
be your sister?
I honestly don't. You
Sugar
might
baby?
be. You might be. I don't know how many siblings I have. When my uncle was alive before he died, he told me about 4 or 5 siblings that I had.
Yo,
I didn't even
before you
know.
go any further, that last sentence with all those numbers made my head hurt.
What number?
Your father is what now? How old is he?
Okay.
He's 20,
So,
he's 30?
He
50?
thinks he's 40.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But because he looks like he's 60 and
Yeah.
nobody believes that he's 92,
Yeah.
he thinks he can act like he's 40.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that meme up with the dude with all the like the numbers and stuff behind
Oh,
him.
what the thing in the
Yeah,
cloud?
Yeah. That's the blackest. That's
Yo.
the blackest sentence I've heard in my life.
Yo.
But I will say, being a caregiver to your parent is so much harder
Yo.
than like I took care of my father until he died, and
Mhm.
at that point in my life, I had become an alcoholic, like because I was struggling so
To deal with everything.
Bad.
With everything.
with my own 2 kids, and now my father who can't even wipe his own ass, and it was the most challenging.
And
thing
how
I've
old were you
ever-
when you were doing that?
It's been 6 years now, so I was in my early 30s.
See, and I look at my dad sometime and I'm like, why did you have me so late? Why did you have me at 55? Because now here I am in
55?
my 30s. Yes. Because here I am in my
Man.
30s
I'll
taking
take
care of
that.
someone 90 something. That ain't
Wow.
right. I'm telling you right now, if I don't have a kid by 41, I ain't having one because I promise you I ain't gonna be my daddy.
I ain't done. I
I ain't
I'm
gonna be
done.
my
I'm
daddy.
done. I'm done.
Dang, that's giving me something to think about. I told y'all I was gonna have one more baby.
You
At
need
what
to hurry
age?
up and do it, D'ionna,
More
because
power
I'm
to
telling you,
sis. Ain't
I'm
nothing
telling
coming
you.
out of here but some pee-pee.
D'ionna, don't take forever because I'm telling you, as the generation that's, I feel like in between the younger and the older, it's frustrating. And I've actually looked at him one day and said, why did you have me so late? Why were you so selfish
You was
about
the
this?
caregiver.
Why did you do this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's like you knew you wasn't going to be there full time. You knew like no. And so here's how he messed himself up, right? So he left this loving marriage with my mom to go back to the Trini lady that he met in Trinidad, but she's the same age. So now y'all two old hags in this house just making sure the other wake up.
The blind.
Making sure the other wake up. Now you want to send letters to my mama? No.
Look, he
Show
went back to
love
his
her
woman.
life.
Look, sorry to break it
Woman
to you.
just as
He
old
went
as
back
him?
to his woman.
Yes.
Hold on.
He went back to his real woman. Sorry.
Whatever the case may be, if that was the case, you wasn't smart about it because now you're stuck with this lady who can't help you. She can't get you up and down the stairs. She can't do nothing for you. And my mom is 21 years younger than him. So you could have had a built-in nurse.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh, wait a second. I'm 18 years younger than my. I'm not gonna be no built-in nurse. Like,
You better get out while you can because it's a 21-year difference. I'm telling you.
Better or worse, so
he's
better
rich.
or
We
worse,
gonna hire somebody. We gonna hire somebody.
You better put it in the paperwork that at the age of 80, that's my cutoff. You better put it in there because I'm telling you.
No, it's still death do you part.
Yeah.
At 80, you better have enough money to hire some help. Because what I'm not doing, I'm still young. If you 80 and I'm 60, I'm not trying to be sitting up in the crib with you. You should have thought about that
Listen,
before you said I
That's a
do.
real thing.
Right.
My cutoff
We don't
age is
talk
10
about
years.
it.
I'm not messing with nobody 20
Yo,
years
she's
older
wild.
than
We
me.
got a whole wife in the house. Did you think about that before you married him?
Oh, damn. For
Their
real?
age
There she
gap
goes,
isn't
sick.
even that bad.
But their age gap, yeah, like you.
Their age
you
gap
only
is
think
normal.
like
It's
that with
under
your
10
No, I
age
know
gap.
theirs is normal, but I'm saying, was
Yeah.
that a thought process for her? No, wasn't? Okay.
At this point, yeah, I'm dating down.
Now that
30 look good to me. 29 is
I ain't dating down.
See,
but I
I'm
don't
dating
go
up.
all the way that
Wait a
far.
minute, I need to know why. Hold on.
so
Them young ones ain't got shit but dick.
so I'm 34. I'm not having if I do have
Oh,
children.
you
it'll be
can
in the
date down
Yeah,
then. You're
it'll be in the
still
next
like
couple
around
years.
that sweet spot. That's fine, I think.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit on the younger
How
side.
far
so that's,
down? How far down?
She said,
Oh, I'm not
29,
going
30.
past 29. Not past 29. So
Oh,
it's
that's not dating down. No, that's still
No,
y'all
they're
still in the same
immature,
bracket.
but they're mature. So it is dating down to a point.
Who's mature?
She claimed them
The
to know.
29-year-olds, they're immature.
Oh, I thought you
Oh,
said-
Oh, we
immature.
heard
Oh, okay.
mature. That's why we was like, what?
Right.
What?
Immature. Immature.
Like, what
But
you
then if
mean
it's in
now?
the next 2 years, they'll be like 30, 31-ish. So it should be good.
You see,
By the time
unfortunately, I had children young, and my son is too close to them ages, so I
Yeah.
just can't do it.
Wait, why?
it'll be like dating her son.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yes, it is. That's
They
gross.
come from the house, my son and them.
And you know
yapping
what?
out.
And you know what? I will say, no, I will say I respect that because let my father come, let me had ever seen him with a woman
My
that
dad
looked
did that.
close to my age.
Yeah.
I
It's
would have cussed him
disgusting.
out. I
It's
would have cussed him
disgusting.
out. It's not
My
okay.
dad dated a woman that was almost the same age as my brother, and I could not stand her. I
Yeah,
had no respect for her. It was bad.
As Fredo,
Horrible.
your brother
as my
Fredo?
I'm gonna tell you
Fredo,
right
yeah.
now, I'm gonna want to fight him
I didn't
because why
wanna-
you here? Why you here?
I was just spicy.
that ain't
I'm
my
the only
business.
girl,
I
and
don't
you
gotta
have a
fight
woman
nobody.
that's my brother's age to
And
date.
then it's like, so dad, do you secretly look at me? Cause like, why
Oh,
you
I
dating
didn't think
someone
that.
my age? Like,
I
I
didn't
don't like
think
that. Are you a
that.
pedophile? Like,
I don't
are
want
you,
to know
like,
ask
young
that
people?
question.
I didn't think that.
I didn't
I didn't think that.
Oh.
I just didn't like
Wait,
her.
wait,
My
wait,
dad-
I didn't think that.
My
Flag
dad,
on the play. Flag on the play.
Right.
Flag.
all the red flags, all of them.
Oh my gosh. Y'all are crazy.
Listen, I'm just here, to let you know. I don't know what else to tell y'all.
I have a question for the wives. Well, there's one wife and a to-be wife. I guess, you know what? It's so funny because
So
I'm
fiance,
still a wife.
wife.
I'm like, I'm
ex-wife,
still a wife.
fiance,
currently.
wife, right, in the process of all that fun stuff.
I'm
When
married
was
to
the moment that
myself.
you was like, okay, I do want to be a wife. Like, I really want to do
Like,
this.
how did you know you was ready for marriage?
I don't want to
Yeah.
hear Deanna's story again though, because that hurt my feelings and my manhood.
But we're just asking her.
Wait a minute, why?
Why did it
Oh,
hurt
oh
your
my
manhood?
We just want to know, how did she know mentally that she was prepared?
No, I'm just channeling all the men that, felt
Okay.
Shut up, Harvey.
I don't
You know
think the
what?
men felt a type of way about the
I
last show
don't
because I don't
either.
think they watched it. So there's that. But no,
And if they
seriously.
did, they was hating, but who cares?
Their girls definitely didn't watch that.
D'ionna, how did you know? How did
I
you know you was
feel
ready
like
for
I've
that full-on
always-
commitment?
I feel like I've always been a wife though. Like even when I think back to like high school, I always had a serious boyfriend. Like I feel like I just always wanted to like have my person. Like what is that like to like be with just one person and kind of dedicate that? So I think after college, I started kind of preparing like my mindset, because in college you're like having fun and you're not really trying to be too serious unless you already have a person.
Mhm.
I didn't have anybody in college, so I was having a good time. But towards the end of my college years, I'm like, I need to start readying myself to be with one person. I need to make sure that I'm going to be an awesome wife. Like if I was a husband, what would I want? And I'm going to make myself into that.
So is it because you saw this at home, or you just like, where did this idea come from?
Yeah, my mom is like very feminine, very old school in regards to like, I mean, before my father would come home, she would freshen up her lipstick. She would put on a fresh dress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
From what
I
you
don't do
saw,
all
did-
that.
From what
but-
you saw, did your dad take care of the house?
And did
Like,
he
Oh, yeah.
appreciate it? Did he notice it?
Oh,
All of
yeah.
that? Okay.
My dad made sure my mom never worked. When she did start to earn her own money, is because she wanted to go to college and she wanted a business. But he paid for everything. I mean, everything she wanted, he bought. All the little like date things she wanted to do, he did. So, I
So
mean,
you
where
had-
I'm at now in my life matches that.
okay.
So here's my question. Do you
Yeah.
think that some of us are open to less than because that's what we've seen?
Right. That's
Oh,
what
absolutely. Absolutely. Because think about it, right? The things we watch on TV, just think about TV, like the certain shows, how they evoke emotions and different things like that. Your life experiences are almost like watching TV. It's like if you keep seeing certain pictures, that's what you normalize.
right.
That's what you think. Like, oh, if you don't see people getting married, you see them kind of shacking up. You don't think about marriage. It's not what you're seeing. If you see people married and they're just existing, it's not really happy, they're not growing, thriving. You look at marriage as just like ball and chain.
Yeah.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So it does have a lot to do with how you grow up and then what you see over and over again, whether it's your friends' relationships or whatever you're feeding your mind. I think that's what you start attracting until you train your mind to what you want.
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm someone who's been doing the work. I've been on a journey since 2016, and I've done my work. I did Carmen's group heal. One of her second heal group was one of the second things that I did when I had started my journey. And a lot of that, and a lot of what she did with me was that self-reflection. Like I had to put the mirror in, and I'll never forget the time she said to me, she was like, "You allowed that." And that was the first time I held myself accountable for the relationships that I've had in the past and my role in that. It happened because I let it. And I think that's one of the harder parts of the journey, accepting like, yeah, you allowed what happened to you, and you will be the one to allow if it continues or if it stops.
Yeah.
I've seen dating coaches, I've done therapy, I've done a lot of that. I can't help who is attracted to me. I can help what I entertain them.
Yep.
Right.
So
I
with
disagree
that,
with that.
everything is going to be attracted to me. I'm a healer. So everything is going to gravitate, but it's up to me to know and understand, okay, what is worth allowing to come close, or knowing the person's role. And the reason why I say that is because I meet good men, but it doesn't mean that they're good men for me. It doesn't mean that it's good men for the journey that I'm on. I'm on a specific journey. I'm working towards specific things. It's going to take a certain kind of man to be on this journey with me if I belong with partnership. And I think that's where I'm at, where I'm in a place where, is partnership an option for me or is it not? And I'm dealing with that acceptance, because part of me is like, this actually isn't going to be a part of my journey, and I'm okay with that, and I'm getting more comfortable in that. I get told all the time, you're going to be a great wife in this, or you're a great this and you're a great that, but there's a part of me that believes like I may never marry. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. It doesn't mean, but it may not be a part of my journey. But when I think about, I'm an educated person, I am in, a variety of fields and industries, and, I'm up with the creme de la creme sometimes. My network is massive. So I know where to go. I know who to be around. I know where to kind of do some of that networking and that socialization, and it's never there. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that for my personal situation, because what I am seeing and the results I'm getting, it's not flourishing. I know what I'm putting out. I know what I'm doing. I know how I carry myself. I know when to unlock my femininity and when not to, but I'm not seeing the results. And like I said,
what is your desire though? Because that's attached to the attraction as well. Like, if I'm just taking what you said, you're like, I'm not really sure if that's a part of my journey to marry, right? So if that is where you are, and that's a fine place to be, I've been there as well, especially when you're in this sort of work, it can get to be like you're already dealing with so many other emotions from other people that sometimes that can be enough. You're like, I don't even know if I want to deal with that for myself. So I would say, like, until you are clear about what you want, it won't flourish, right? Because you haven't set the intention on what should flourish.
So I have. And I have a relationship. I have a coach for everything. I got health coaches. I got relationship coach.
That's right.
I got professional. Every kind of coach you think I got.
Yeah.
And I have
coaches.
I love that though.
You get a coach.
I love coaches. Everybody's a coach.
Everybody's a coach.
So with my relationship coach, I went on a break from dating because it was a bad experience. Like, it was horrible. And I have canceled certain countries. I will not entertain. I will not
Me
look.
too, I canceled countries, but I ain't single no more, so there's that.
Talk about it. For me, it's
I
certain
will
signs,
not
girl.
engage certain people because I know what comes with it. And, I took a break from last August till December because I was mortified about the dating experience. And I literally was like, listen, I want to be happy about dating. Dating is fun. Dating is excited. I like to get sexy. I like to be taken out. I'm not going to let these niggas drive me crazy. Right. So I took like a 6-month break. We traveled. We had a good time. I enjoyed my summer. I focused on myself. I flourished. And then in December, I got back in the dating game a little bit. I started putting myself back out there and having somewhat of a lackluster, similar experience, not as bad. But then I started to realize, like, I'm not necessarily a part of the problem because I'm doing my work. I've done my work. But if I'm meeting someone who, the last couple guys were divorcees, getting ready to be divorced, multiple children with multiple women, that is not somebody that I'm probably going to, at this point, mesh well with, because they need to do their work. If I'm meeting them in that space, they ain't done their work yet. So that's not going to be a good match for me. Again, great men, educated, quality men, but timing wasn't quite right. And I've kind of pulled back again. I just did I just went through one of my sort of final phases of this journey I've been on. So I'm going to focus on me again for the next 6 to 9 months. So dating is probably not going to be a part of the scenario for a little while. Again, because I want to focus on me, get back on my health kick and do some other things that I have going on. But it doesn't mean that the right person might not be in the gym that day or be on the trail that I'm walking on or any of that type of stuff. But at this point thus far, it's been horrible. Like it's been really bad. And I'm like, I don't want to do this shit.
But you said you're a healer. So do you are you seeking clients right now?
No.
Because I mean, that sounds like what
she don't do healing work.
No,
she doesn't do healing work. She's an empath.
Recognizes she has that.
I have a healing spirit. I have a healing spirit.
Do you guys think that the dating pool has piss in it because a lot of men lack character?
Yes.
Because you got to remember,
I think there's cyanide in it.
Back in the day, women
pissy and shit.
Back in the day, men wouldn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, but women couldn't work. So all the pretty blue eyes that we had, we took that shit in. Now they can't tell us our eyes are blue because we know they're brown.
Yeah.
I like that so
I feel like a lot of them no longer have character. They don't know how to date. They don't know how to have conversations. And let's go back to where you said, D'ionna, and I'm not saying all. The majority of the ones where we're having the issues with.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to what you said. Did they grow up in a 2-parent household where they saw a man know how to take care of a woman?
Yep.
But,
well, we know,
that doesn't mean
it doesn't mean no, but again,
they can't.
Again, it doesn't mean they can't do the work. But again, the same way us as women are doing the work, so are these men, because the things that we're unlearning, they're unlearning as well.
Here's the other thing to keep in mind.
So that's where I struggle.
As we become awakened women, dating gets harder.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like
everything gets harder.
This is where my struggle comes in at, because now I'm like, yo, I'm 39. Your whole frontal cortex has been developed, sir. So therefore, anything that you are or are not doing is an excuse. You're a full-grown adult, my dude. There's no reason why you don't know. You got a whole Palm Pilot in your hand. If you don't, Google it. It's free. The way y'all niggas be on fucking social media all goddamn day, you gotta be kidding me if you don't know how to do something.
But here's the other thing, right?
It's crazy.
Here's the thing to keep
the men back then didn't have all of that. So of course they was getting their pennies thrown at them because all they had to do was buy a bottle of wine.
But think about how we got to where we are. We didn't get to where we are through Google.
We didn't.
We got to where we are through coaching. We got to where we are through therapy. We got to where we are through intentionality. Right. And so, yes, if I did not go through the process and journey that I went through, I would still be a fuckboy.
Okay? Me too.
I would still be.
I would still be a fuckboy too if I didn't do the work.
If I would still be out here, and I would say that's just the way I am.
And people would be okay with that.
Until I had to learn how my behaviors were impacting my own life, how my behaviors,
I've never
my
been
thoughts,
a
my
fuckboy.
habits.
I've been a fuckboy.
But here's the thing.
I've never been.
So as we become awakened women and our mindset has shifted, they're still asleep, right? They're still asleep. They have not become awakened men. So now we're dating sleepy men, right? Who have not begun the journey. So they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. One, because there are women who still accept who they are.
All day, every day, they accept it in everything.
Right.
There are women who still accept who they are. And I always tell women, we have to shift. And the moment we start to set boundaries, the moment we start to say, I'm not for that, that men will change. Is either step up or step the fuck out.
It's gonna go way. Right. And if there's too many of us singing the same song, the men will have to keep up.
They will have to.
But no, I mean, guess what? There's still gonna be people who's gonna deal with.
Of course there is. Of course. But let them go their way.
There's always gonna be.
But then they'll have their own world. Like we don't have to be bothered with them.
That's it. There's always gonna be a woman.
And then we'd be like, you don't gotta deal with your bullshit. Because are not our ancestors.
Being that we're evolved, right? And all of us have done healing work. We've done self-work. We've taken accountability. We're like at this different level, right? So at what point do we hold ourselves accountable for not even, how do I say this?
Just say it.
Just be raw, D. Be raw.
I mean, at what point if you're still saying that the pool is like that, right?
Pissy and shitty.
There's some women that don't have that experience at all.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean?
Right.
The fish over here they swimming, they doing everything.
I feel like a lot of those women are the type who accept anything too.
Or
I wouldn't say that.
have healed men and are in healthy relationships. That's the other side of it.
Okay, we'll take.
It's either the
I
A-
know a lot of women that are single by choice.
Yeah.
Right,
And when
because
I'm being
I
very
had that
single by
conversation.
choice, that's for
saying
sure.
I
by
had a
choice.
conversation with a friend of mine earlier this week, and I told him, I said, a lot of women, depending on where they are in their life, a lot of them are single by choice because of the experiences that they've had. So depending on what that woman has been through, she really don't want to be with a man. I had reached that point prior to meeting the person I'm with now. I was like, yo, I'm done. I'm about to go right back to my fuckboy ways. Y'all about to catch these hands. Like, I was going to the streets, and these dudes wasn't even gonna know they was getting played, like, at all. And I was gonna have no remorse.
Can I pause this for 2 seconds?
Shanice has a
Just
question.
identify a definition for fuckboy.
So a definition to fuckboy for me, when my father
She
sat
was
me down,
future. She was
when my
future.
father, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is how my relationships in my head started out when I was a little girl. My daddy and my uncle, they're brothers, and he was my favorite uncle. They said, find them, fuck them, forget them.
Yep.
These are the three things that the two top men in my life taught me. Find them, fuck them, forget them. So trust and believe, that's what the fuck I did. And trust and believe, I reached that stage when I became, like, recently, I was like, yo, I'm about to find them, fuck them, and forget them. That's what it was gonna
But
be.
it brings you back to full circle where
does
if
bring you
that's what
back.
you're around and that's what you're seeing and that's what you're hearing.
It does. It brings you all full back circle.
So it's like,
why
that's what you're attracting.
No, but I don't think like that anymore.
Even if you say you don't want it, it's
I
like,
don't think like that anymore.
no,
don't do those
obviously
things
not.
anymore.
You said you have somebody
I'm just saying
now.
back in my
It's like
day.
back then.
Yes, back in the day. When I was young, I'm not a kid anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it is challenging. And the other piece is, you know, as I tell women, is one, you have to be patient. Also, meeting men, setting your boundaries, and also being patient with men on their journey. Not saying that you have to wait for someone to catch up, but if you meet a man who's not necessarily where you are, however, can communicate or can articulate who they are, can talk about what their struggles are, can talk about what they're going through and how they're trying to figure it out, is for us to also say, is this something I can be patient with? Because remembering in acceptance that we are still on a journey too. The journey never ends. We have triggers. There are moments in our life where we're like, fuck this shit, but then we have to remember where we're going and why we're going there. So also understanding that there are men, again, who's not necessarily going to be where we are, but we can be patient and support them. We're not responsible for their journey, but we can be supportive as they are going through also, because it's also an opportunity to grow together. To grow in love, to grow in healing, and to have something to say, wow, this relationship, watching you on your journey inspired me to continue my journey. But also there is so much relatability because unfortunately in the Black community, we have all experienced a lot of trauma and pain, right? And so also
PTSD
understanding
is real.
my ex was bananas. However, I mean,
Like, you mean like cooked? Like
cooked
crazy.
cooked.
Okay.
Right.
okay.
From the hooter to the
That
tutor.
reminds me of the one before the last.
However, I understood how his pain was showing up in our relationship. And from that place, I could be patient for a little while, and then I had to draw the line. However, even as I go and I date guys now, one, for me, it's really important that you know yourself. If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what your struggles are, if you say, oh yeah, I'm good, then I know that you're not a person that I can rock with because you're not aware, right? And so when you meet someone who has awareness, then it's like, okay, I can work with this, because from that place, we could even have conversations about healing. We can have conversations about, that shit turns me on. We can have conversations, right, about how we move forward. What type of support do you need? Like, you know, I have a dude that I'm dating right now. I spaz out. Like, I'd be like, yo, don't play with me. And he'd be like, all right, listen, let's talk about this. I'd be like, I appreciate your patience because I spaz out. right? Like I can go from 0
So
to
just
10.
like you're saying, so
Right.
what you're saying is just like you want them to accept us with our little quirks, we have to be open.
We have to be
accepting them.
open. We have to be open because one thing, when we talk about red flags, right? This red flags is the new thing, right? Like everybody's red flagging. But here's the thing, when you start looking for red flags, you fucking
You're
find
gonna
it.
find it.
All right.
Everything's
Yup.
a red flag.
Yeah.
I look for it.
But here's the thing, here's what I tell women. Pay more attention to your red flags than you do to his, right? Because his red flags don't matter. At the end of the day, people are going to be who they are, and you have to allow them to be that. You have to allow them to be themselves. And then from that place, you can decide, is this a person I can rock with? But when we get into this place of trying to change people, trying to tell people, oh, well, if you want to be with me, this is how you got to be. That's where we suffer. That's
Well,
where
I think
we
it goes back to like the whole like self-healing and self-awareness that's mentioned.
Absolutely.
Right? If you are out there and you're dating and all you're looking at is like what looks good to you, what kind of attracts you that way, instead of going into the situation saying, I'm healed, I'm happy, I'm whole by myself. So if somebody comes along, they got to fit into what I'm doing. They got to fit where I'm at. I think your perspective on dating might be a little bit differently because you won't even entertain certain energies. Like you'll see things and you'll be like, nope, I don't rock with what I'm on right now. And you won't even give things a chance to grow. I think women are too open with just allowing things. They find one little thing they like and they attach themselves to that.
Yeah, and they ignore everything else. It's so true. I've done it a million times.
I have too.
Completely. It's so true.
We've all done it.
It's so true.
And I think the struggle though with self-value and self-love. It's a struggle, and it's something that we've all struggled with. When we attach to that one thing and ignore all the other things, it's because we want so bad
for it to
feel something that we know, we already know in our mind it's not real. We already know in our minds it's not the love, or it's not the love we desire. Like the model for my course, Manifesting Love, is become the love you want to attract. So first, you have to become that. All the things that you're looking for in a person, you want communication, you want quality time, you want affirmations, you want admiration. You got to first give all that shit to yourself. I tell people, if the love I receive from a man does not feel like the love I give myself, I don't want it.
Treat me like a treat me.
Right?
Yes.
But you know I do it right.
And so when you have those values, which is the first thing my clients have to develop in our work, once you have those values and you hold yourself first,
accountable,
true to those values, then you can feel whether or not someone is in alignment. And if they're not in alignment, they better have something fucking better, right? Either come in alignment with that feels good for me, or something that even tops this amazing feeling that I already give myself. That's right, baby. That's right. Like our values are our guide, and the greatest struggle is people don't have values. They want everything and accept nothing. It's never going to work if you do not develop values for yourself and then hold yourself accountable to those values first. We want people to treat us better than we treat ourselves. Right? Nobody's going to treat you. The way you treat yourself is the teacher for how others can teach you.
Yes, it is.
Right?
I completely agree with that.
Trash,
in my course, that's exactly
trash
what
too.
If you treat yourself like trash, you don't take care of yourself, you don't value yourself, you don't show up for yourself, you're asking for someone to commit to you, but you haven't even committed to yourself. Why would someone commit? I'm not committing to someone who's not committed to themselves.
That's why I told you don't want nobody with titties, because that means he's not committing to his chest game in the fucking gym.
He
ain't pushing that weight.
You don't care about
I completely agree with that.
I mean, he just eating donuts all
and gentlemen, don't get upset, because I'm okay with a little belly. Okay, I'm okay with a little belly. It's literally the titties.
Oh Lord,
I'm just talking shit. I don't care.
You get that man a nice.
No, but that's so important, because when we're talking about like,
you know what, if you need a bra, you really ain't for me.
Sorry. Go ahead.
When we're talking about attracting love, manifesting like the mate that you want, all of that, Carmen, you hit it like out of the park, because I agree so much with that ideology. My course is built the same way. The 75% of my course is about your self-worth. It's about that healing. It's about becoming what you want to attract. There's literally no way to do it if you try to skip over that. You may attract a good guy. I'm not saying that that won't happen. That can happen, especially if you're a beautiful woman, accomplished. They're gonna come. But the man that's going to be transformational in your life, you guys are actually going to grow together. It's going to benefit you in every area. That's not going to happen in a sustainable way if you haven't worked on yourself, completely healed. You're okay being by yourself, and you're not even really worried about a guy. When my guy came along, I didn't even want to be with anyone. I was so into myself, so into myself, so into my peace, my self-worth.
Myself.
I wasn't thinking about a relationship. And because I wasn't thinking about a relationship, we both just got to be human beings, being ourselves, and we just got to observe. Oh shit, I like how he does that. He's like, oh shit, I like how she does that. But it's not in a romantic way.
Right.
So we were able to, with our eyes wide open, not goo-goo-eyed, not like feeling lusty for each other or none of that, because we weren't focused on it.
So speaking of lust, D'ionna, speaking of lust, what are you like? No, seriously, like, what are your thoughts on sex? Do we do it early? Do we do it late? Do we wait? Do we not?
I hope free.
I mean,
No, so
for
let me
me
stop.
personally,
I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking.
For
Do what
me
you wanna do.
personally, I am not quick to give up the draws, right? I be wanting to be wild and free. I ain't never had a one night stand. I be wanting to be wild and free. Okay. The inside of me be wanting to be wild and free, but I just can't. I think the PK in me just takes over, and I be like, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And the disease, that, and this, that, and that. What if you get pregnant? And so I have all these thoughts. So I never know when. First of all, let's talk about it. I don't even really like initiating it.
Hold on. Before we get too deep into conversations, we got
Look at
8 minutes left. We got 8 minutes left,
Yeah.
y'all. So don't get too crazy. Don't get too crazy, y'all. Don't get too crazy. But I still have something I wanted to ask.
So D'ionna and Carmen, because you guys are the coaches. You fuck on the first day, you fuck 2 weeks later, you fuck a month in. What are we thinking? What is the thought process here?
I say if you want to build something strong and lasting, slow is the best way.
I agree.
Right.
Agreed.
Having sex on the first date with someone is not someone that you're really interested in building a long-term relationship. And that's just my opinion. I don't think that there's a time. If you're not a person who's like, I'm waiting till marriage, I don't think there's necessarily a time. You have to listen to your body. You have to listen to your mind, listen to your heart. Once you know, like, once you are in a place where you feel like this is the person I can see myself with, and you are both, and the conversation has to happen. Like, talk about it. Like, when I'm dating, I let people know, you're not getting no pussy. So if that's what you came for, you can bounce.
I would like men to know that women know right up front if we want to fuck you or not. We already know.
They know that.
We already know.
They know.
So women fuck who we want, and men fuck who they can.
So while Carmen was saying that, I was thinking to myself,
we already, if we fucked you on the
wanted-
first night, we just was wanted to fuck.
I really want to
What if I'm just
But that's a personal choice, right?
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, like, I ask myself, when I have sex, I want it to come from a place of love. So
Now I do.
ask myself in a space of awareness, is this lust or is this love? And if it's lust, I turn the other way. If I feel like, I've been abstinent for a long time, unfortunately. However, even with my ex, when I stopped having sex with him, it's because love was no longer present. And then I was just doing it because it was sex.
It was pity pussy.
Right. And then I was not into that.
When your relationship gets the pity pussy, it's over.
And the thing is, if it's lust and you feel like, hey, I'm not looking for love, then it's a choice, right? And so I really think, do what doesn't feel, when you're done, is it going to make me feel like a piece of shit? Am I going to be unhappy about this decision I make? These are things that I say, you have to think about before you make decisions, because you have to deal with the consequences. Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in my own head.
Right. And
I really
I
want to
feel like I
answer
feel like
this.
a fucking hoe.
Because if you
And
don't
this
come,
is why I've
it
never
don't
done
count.
these
Right,
things
right.
because I'm like, I know that I'm gonna beat
So it's
myself
a waste
up
of a
about
fuck.
it. I know
So-
I'm beating myself up
And we
about
don't want to waste
Don't
fucks,
come,
but
it don't count, and it was a waste of a fuck. Don't even add them
so
to your
listen,
roster.
okay.
Don't add them to your roster.
it. Wow.
You know
I'm
what?
gonna say this.
Deanna
Let me
wants
tell
to
you
say
something. I
something.
will come and
Yeah.
still deny the dick.
Deanna
Don't
wants
play
to
with me.
say something,
I'm
guys.
so passionate about this. This is a really good question, and I feel like there's no right or wrong answer, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that we should consider.
Mhm.
So I was married. The person I married, we fucked on the first day.
Ooh.
So right there, that it doesn't mean you won't get married. It doesn't mean any of that. It really, I would say it's up to where you are, like at that point in your journey, your connection with that person, and your ability to communicate.
How long were y'all dating before you fucked him on the first date? Like, were y'all talking?
We talked maybe for, I would say like over the computer. We talked over the computer for like 2 or 3 months.
Okay,
But
so
literally
it wasn't like a month in and you fucked him.
met and went on a date. We
And
fucked. But then my fiance now, I told y'all the story, like we talked on the computer, we met. We didn't do anything physical until we were engaged for months.
That's what's up.
So now what's the difference
It
between
depends
the
on
one
where
that
you are in your journey. Like
Yeah,
I made
we are.
right.
You
You have
as a
to
person.
again. You can't go based on somebody else's journey because
No,
that's
right.
that was their life, right? And the person that they were with. And so when the person that you're with, again, I don't think people have enough conversation about the sex.
right.
Conversation about what your needs are. Right, like I need to be emotionally connected to a person before
and
I
how
can give
high
them
your
my
sex
body.
drive
You
is.
need
That
to
is
you need
such
to know a person's values.
Yeah.
That's important to know. Both of these men, even though I'm not with, my children's father anymore, he was a man who valued marriage. And I knew that before I had sex with him. So the likelihood he would still marry me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Got it.
so I did still know those things. There were certain things that I always checked out before I had sex with anybody, unless it was one of those times where I was just doing me and it was a lust thing. Then it didn't matter. I was doing me.
Right.
But when I was in a space where I'm like not looking, but when I was in a space where I was open to settling down and things like that, before I gave myself physically, there were things that I checked out first. So it wasn't necessarily about the amount of time. It was about our conversations and what we had communicated and what I understood about that person's values.
And knowing, like she said, knowing what you want. Do I just want to have sex? If you just want to have sex, then your mind is going to be in that space. Like, I'm not looking for anything. I'm just looking for a good time. Or am I looking for something more? Then your mind is going to respond differently. And so you just have to really, again, be in a place of full awareness of what do I want right now? And how is my energy and my habits and my actions matching what I'm saying I want?
So should I go on dates with ugly men? Because when they're handsome, my imaginary penis gets hard and then I want to look at them in a sexual way. So maybe
I would check that about yourself. I would check that about yourself. Me personally, I take sex off the table because when you have that intimate moment, your feelings, everything's all
everything's a ray. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I try my best to get to know the person and, like they say, understand their values, see how we align, see if there's a connection, because I'm looking for deep, long-term longevity. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything short-term. And if I blow over, like my last ex, we had great sex. That's what I liked about him. I did not like that nigga. And I realized that after the fact, like, I did not like nothing about him, but he knew what to do. He did well.
Honesty is key.
That's what it was.
With it. It was what it was. That's how we grow.
But I don't want that for my next relationship. I want someone to cover me. I want someone to nurture me. I want someone to love me. I want someone to walk this journey as I'm helping people and developing and all these plans I have that God is putting in my mind. that's not going to work for the next phases. As I'm wrapping up this doctorate, I don't need no knucklehead next to me. I need someone that's going to develop me, cultivate me. So you have to think about your value. And I've been abstinent for almost 2 years now. I play with my abstinence, so I don't have sex as much as a lot of people. That's why I can stay grounded in it, because it's not that deep. Once that nut come off, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Pandora's
But sometimes
box.
it's just a buildup. It's just a buildup.
She's right.
It's just a buildup.
She's right. She's absolutely right. So I guess I just need to play with myself before I go on the date. So I'm not all wound up.
Yes.
And I can have my open eyes, because it has been a while. And so sometimes I want it and I will look at them and be like, nigga, that dick, I can tell. Okay, so that's my other thing. It's really bad because I can kind of, and I'm getting away from that.
But why? Like, I would encourage you, take the men out of the equation. You really need to look at, you are driven that way.
Yeah.
What needs?
Because I don't get dick often. I don't want it often. I'm a PK.
But it's not even about the sex.
What's a PK?
A preacher's kid.
So
with that said, we're so restrained all the time. That once in a
while, are you just acting out? Are you just
real quick,
she's
ladies,
not religious.
pause, time out. Shanice has a question or statement. She's been raising her hand for a minute off camera, y'all. We so sorry. Come on, Shanice, say it out loud.
It's okay.
Talking to the mic.
So
You're the married one. You pro at this, talking to the mic, baby.
So I have a question, or I don't know if it's a statement or a question or whatever, if it's a thought, but just listen to you guys and your journey. Everybody's different and in different stages of their journey, which is great. And then we get into the topic. We went from, self-love to like the conversation of sex, which kind of, at least for me, when I think about it, I mean, one is not necessarily different from the other, just as you're taking time to get to know yourself as in self-love and what you want in life and so forth. The same thing you do about sex. So it's not like you are seeing somebody, you're attracted to them, like, okay, now I want to have sex with that person. Like, you can definitely find your intimacy as just the same way as you're selling your self-love, and you know what I'm saying? Like, take those same principles and bear it towards like your sexual experience, because at the end of the day, even when you're engaged in sex with somebody else, it's really, you're supposed to be thinking about your own feelings, or like what your own pleasure. Because when you're thinking about your own pleasure, then that person is actually enjoying your pleasure just as much. But when you keep thinking about how you're going to, or if that person enjoying this or whatever, like you're not focused, right? So if you're thinking about just seeing this guy and you're so attracted to them or whatever, like you just kind of think about like how attractive you are to yourself. And so then why do you need to feel the need to jump bones when you can get off on your own and enjoy that moment? I don't know if that makes sense.
So yeah, that's the thing. I am growing within myself sexually. Yes.
Right. I tell that I stand in the mirror naked every single day.
Me
and
too.
Admire myself.
I've finally gotten to that stage.
Of her.
Every day.
The other thing I'd add to Toya, you got to look at the other thing with sexual energy that comes with it is creativity. You're not creating enough. So you have to understand that creativity and sexual energy manifest in the same way. So if you have that buildup, there's something in you that you need to get out and create. So a lot of us who like can withstand is because we're taking that energy and putting it in a different place.
Oh, school me, Candace.
So think about that.
I'm listening too, because I feel like her.
So think about
And you know what's funny? My creative side has opened up a whole lot more lately. I will agree with that statement.
Let me tell you something. I can produce a lot more when I have that buildup, when I sit down and focus, and it will come out. And I can produce and I'll build things and I'll get it all out. And it manifests in the same way. So you got to also know how to balance that. It could just be a matter of you're sitting on something you need to create. And then it'll come
that's
out.
Why athletes don't have sex before big games. That's why boxers don't have sex. They hone that sexual energy. That is good. Now I know why I can like, I'm creating all the time, so I don't really need it as much.
Correct.
That's a good point.
Yeah, for sure.
Because my creative side has really opened up so much more since the last relationship, and it's like,
yeah, just channel it.
Yeah, that's what I did. I used to redirect it.
Ain't nobody listen to Amanda. Amanda don't redirect.
Amanda, did we get to your thing? You said you had a thing you wanted to bring up. Did we get to it?
How do y'all feel about fuck them kids?
none either. And you know,
I
I
know.
already feel like fuck
But
'em.
Didi,
I have 2.
Carmen,
She got 2 too.
the guilt,
3.
the guilt, and you feel like you're doing everything and they acting the fuck up, and you just want to punch them in their esophagus, but you know you're gonna go to jail.
Oh, I know
You know
that
what?
feeling from my niece.
I've started looking at my kids as like direct conversation with God, right? So when they start doing stuff that irritates me, I feel like that's an area that I have not mastered. When I'm easily like annoyed, when I can't give in a certain way, when I'm like expecting things from them that's like unreasonable, like, dude, they're 4 and 6, like, wrap it up. Why are you annoyed like this? Like, that's what's been able to help me, because before that, I would treat my kids like they're grown. Like, yo, what you crying for? They're like,
Because that's
wrap
how we
it
were
up.
taught. We couldn't cry. Let me
That's-
give you something to
that's-
cry for.
That's definitely the space I'm in. When I see my son showing up in a certain way and I'm frustrated, I remind myself that that's what you want. That's not what
Yes.
you want. Right?
Yes.
And that's not who he is. So when I'm like, Gabe, he'd be like, and you know, because I allow him a freedom of speech, which sometimes I regret the fact that he'll be like, that's not how I want to do it, Mom. And I'll say, you know what? You're right. And I just
You're
turn
right.
around. I just turn around and I just walk away, because like at the end of the day, he's right. I want it done this way. I want him to do things this way. And it's like at the end of the day, he needs to be able to make a decision on how he does it. If at the end of the day it's done,
That's the point.
and even though it wasn't the way I would do it, it's also allowing him to grow and develop as a human being and develop his brain to think for himself. We were taught for,
I know.
as kids. We were not able, there was no freedom of speech.
Nope.
There was no, we'll do it the way that we're, I mean, my son,
do it the way I did it.
right. Every single day, his damn shirt is on the wrong side. I'm like, dude, fix your clothes. He's like, I'm okay with it. I go, you know what? No problem. Right?
Absolutely.
No
you know what? That's taught me a lot too.
It's giving me peace.
I was getting frustrated because I would see my kids do stupid shit. And I'd be like, why are you not thinking?
Yep.
And it's like, God showed me the awareness because you fucking tell them what to do all the time.
Everything.
They
You
don't
let
know
them
how to
think on their own.
fucking think.
Yep.
They don't know how to think.
Yep.
So now when they do stupid shit, I calm myself and I'm like, Shelby, is that smart? Is there another way to do that? Have you put on your thinking cap? And like, and it's totally different. Now she calms herself. I'll see her ponder. I'll see her come up with different ways to solve issues. And I'm like, okay, you know, I need.
What would you guys' advice be for Amanda? Because she has teenage kids. They ain't 4 and 6.
I mean, for me, you know, my son is.
They're gonna do dumb shit.
Right. I mean, I have a 24-year-old and I have one that's about to be 10. And what I realize is, as we raise kids, we cannot give them blueprints.
Yeah.
The same way that we struggled with our parents, our kids are struggling with us. I mean, me and my son struggled. And so I look back on that. Because we're not that old. So we can really look back and say, wow, this was me. So it's, what do I need to release? And coming into awareness, where am I trying to be in control? Right? Where am I trying to be in control? And what is some shit that they're just gonna have to fucking learn? They're just gonna have to fucking learn and figure it out. I had my first son at 14 years old. Everybody was like, what the fuck? But you know what? I had to learn. I had to figure a lot of shit out. Even though there were people trying to guide me, I didn't want to fucking hear it. I thought I knew everything. And that's where our teenagers is. They believe that, especially today's teenagers, with all the access to information they have.
Girl, that internet,
that did me today.
Internet.
They know everything. So what we have to allow them to fall. But in a place of saying, you're going to fall. When you fall, I am here to give you a hand back up. Knowing when to just fucking release.
And let them fall on their own sword.
You gotta release.
I would say to anybody.
Javi has one question. Javi has one thing.
No, wait. I want D'ionna to say what she's gonna say though. You gonna remember, Javi?
No, this is y'all.
Okay, go ahead, D'ionna.
I'll make it quick. I would say to anyone, no matter what age, like they're your children, but you're raising adults,
Human beings.
right? You want them to be healthy, functioning adults that can take care of themselves. So start thinking more along those lines. Like how will they need to learn? What will cultivate them being able to take care of themselves? What will cultivate them being able to be healthy individuals that can function in society and make you proud? Not necessarily do what you would do, but you would look at them and say, they're an evolved person.
Right.
They are emotionally stable. Think about it that way. Don't see them as kids so much, because that makes you baby them. That makes you hover and do everything all the time instead of like observing them in their existence and guiding.
But sometimes we also have to recognize the trauma that we've transferred. I transferred a lot of trauma to my oldest son, and I had to have that conversation with him. Like, I was traumatized and I transferred a lot of that shit onto you. And so we also have to remember that some of the experiences our children are having is their experience of our trauma that we have projected onto them. Right.
We need a separate show on parenting.
Yeah.
Because
Go ahead, Javi.
So thank you guys. Like, I feel honored to be a witness to this conversation. Like, except for Big Cap.
They're always at war.
You was around this whole conversation.
Wow. Go ahead, Javi.
No, but I think there is some overlap between the issues that you guys have been discussing and issues that men experience, especially Black men, right? And that includes the way we were raised. A lot of us were raised by single moms who, honestly, it's crazy when I think back. Me and my wife actually had a conversation. My wife had an interaction with my mom that kind of showed her maybe a basis of some of my trauma. That and it wasn't like it's, we won't go into details, but like.
But she picked up on it.
We've been married so long. My wife knows our mom.
Right.
But listening to you guys talk about this, the way you're talking about it, gives me a lot of hope. Because growing up with my mom, like, I had a lot of father figures, which I'm blessed to have. My dad was around, and my mom was essentially raising me alone in the projects. And then I said, there was a lot of tension, but as I got older, I'm like, she was really raising me in a scary ass situation by herself, right? But here we go. As growing up as a Honduran male, I learned a couple of lessons. I don't make my own plate, right? As a man, you cheat on your wife,
which is so fucked up.
As long as you're out of the country, you good. You can do whatever you want. You're out of the country, you good, right? And I learned that, like, women will take care of you.
Yep.
And these were all lessons I was taught unintentionally, right? Also, and as a man, nobody's going to be empathetic towards your needs. Like, if you have issues, you keep that shit in, and you muscle through it. And those are the lessons you learn. Growing up with trauma that a lot of women.
Survival mode. Like, we were raised on survival.
Don't get emotional, Hub.
Yeah, it's true.
You men will have your day to have y'all show.
We need the men's show.
The men's show is coming. It's coming. The Black men will have their moment to get out all their struggles.
It's true.
Because it's real. They have no outlet.
Right.
They don't.
I don't want y'all to think my mom's awesome.
But here's the thing. So even when I was saying earlier is that we have to be patient with our men.
We do.
Right? Because we have to recognize that just the same way we went through trauma, so have they. Right?
Yeah.
And
honestly, the relationship a guy has
something that Javi did though.
For us as women, I know I traumatized my son. I know a lot of the shit my son experiences I raised my son in survival, not on love.
Right, a lot of us did.
I just had to get him through. I had to make sure that nigga ate and try to keep him out the streets. So I wasn't loving him. I just took care of him, right? And that's traumatic on its own.
Yes, because I am one of those shows.
Can I point out
it's not intentional.
It's not, but when you have that choice as a mother, you typically do the provide instead of love. Even though love as a mother
I was raised that way. As a woman being raised by a woman, I wasn't raised on love. My grandmother raised me.
See, and my mom wasn't raised on love either. She'll tell me any day my mom was a mean person. She wasn't nice. The only nice person she had in her life was her dad. So that's why my mom chased after men so much.
Can I point out something that Javi said at the end? Did you notice how after he said what he said, which
He kept saying, my mom is a good mom. My mom is a good mom.
Thank you. That points to like how ingrained it is in our men that they can't even just express themselves and share their experience
Without doubling back to
say, but I ain't bad talking my mom,
right?
Because she took care of me.
Yeah.
So I can't say
that's all of us too. That's even the women. That's even women too, though. Like, you can't say nothing wrong about your parents because they're your parents.
No, some of those mothers are horrible.
Facts.
Some of those mothers are fucking horrible and detrimental to their children.
Absolutely.
And we need to talk more about that because a lot of us who were raised on the struggle, seeing our mothers do 45 things and then expect our partners to do the same.
Yep.
No, my mother was in a fucked up situation. I don't recommend that for nobody. I don't ask nobody. Don't ask me to be like her at all, ever. No disrespect to her, she did what she needed to do, but it's not healthy and it was never healthy. And we need to also be in this space like they had some horrible situations, some of which they created, some of which they didn't, some of it was life, but it was not healthy, period.
Right.
And we're not okay because of that.
And
now
products of it, right?
We're still dealing
We're
through
still learning.
We're still learning.
We are still
learning.
And I think we're going to wrap it up with this. We're still learning before it goes too far.
Yeah, because as soon as we open up another topic,
still learning. And that might be the name of the show, that we're still learning.
Yeah.
So with that, I want to thank D'ionna for signing on. I want to thank Candy for tuning in. Everyone that's here right now, thank you all for coming, because at the end of the day, we're all here to learn from one another. The wives, I'm hanging out with more wives because I would like to be a wife one day. I'm still talking. I would like to be a wife one day, and a good wife at that. So I'm following a lot of good wives. I've been talking to Shanice a lot more. I've been talking with my sisters-in-law more, because one day I'm gonna be that.
That's right.
You'll be it again. You were a good wife before.
I wasn't a good wife the first time. The first time I was not. I was not.
Let her own her shit.
I love that. I love that.
Anybody. I did not get married for the right reasons at all.
Hello.
I got married because I knew he would have no papers and he would be a house husband. And I don't like domestication.
See?
I still don't like domestication.
I love that, honestly.
I'm honest as fuck. I don't like cooking. I don't like cleaning, but I do it. My mom taught me how to hustle. If I could work all day, pay these bills, and we go on vacation while somebody else is home doing this, I'll do that. I'll work 2 jobs. I'll take care of the house. I'll come home and love everybody as long as I don't gotta cook or clean.
I like to cook everybody.
I will love everybody the most.
I do.
As long as there's food on my stove and my house is top notch. Nobody would have any complaints.
You said we was
okay? So with that, because we're all still learning.
We're still learning.
You need a maid. You can outsource all of it.
D'ionna, we need you back again. I feel like this needs to happen because we need part 2 of the book. We got into
and I finally ordered mine.
It's on the way. I sent it today.
Can't wait to get it. Got my book.
So we should put something on after you guys get it. Like, and maybe have done a little bit of it.
Stephanie got her book. She has her.
So it's a guided journal, and it's Manifesting Love Fit for a Queen. So it literally is 28 writing prompts that will kind of take you from your self-healing, your self-work, identifying what type of mate you really need, then identifying the work you need to do to prepare, and then the manifestation at the end.
Yes, because we're still learning. And if you go to her link, you'll be able to learn more about her stuff. So you guys find us on all the platforms. We got YouTube, we got SoundCloud,
everything.
All of them.
It's all of them.
Google
Y'all ain't gonna make me feel bad for having an imaginary penis that gets hard when I see somebody fine. I don't care if he got teddies and I get hard, then it just happens. That's it. We should end it there.
We're not, because I had to finish.
We're all still learning.
Love and light.
We're all still learning.
We got Heal with Carmen Blyden, HEAL. Heal, because we're all still learning. Wow.
We're all still learning.
We'll be with you.
Gang, gang.